Everybody, welcome to Mystics MMOs. I'm your host, Mystic Raven. Alright, guys, slowly recovering. I am very slowly recovering. I do apologize. I've been sick for the last 2 days. Got very minimal, even login time. Just was really sick for 2 days. It happens, real life, add that. I also have a lot of real life things to do. I will get my morning stream in the morning, but I have a lot of things to do tomorrow as well. So I'm just going to go ahead. We're going to switch the role. We'll queue up some stuff here. We'll kind of mix it up a little bit. So start off with the DK, I think, because resets happen already. So we got our reset this morning. But then on top of it, what's really nice is we've got, maybe should have repaired, but should have hit it. My fault. It will be fine. We'll be fine. One thing I encourage players to do, let's say you're like maxing out tunes like I am, try to utilize cello. try to utilize your tunes as much as possible. Like rotate them as much as possible. Oh shit. Forgot that's on another tune. Alright. Still not 100%, but I'm trying. Good heals. Good fucking heals. Yeah, don't. Nope, messed that up. Good shit. That Astro kicks ass. Of course, my T's not firing because when my ground effect isn't fired on my macro, it says invalid. But it's just the way it's scripted. Oh shit. This is why you always want to run a threat degeneration. Please make sure you guys do that shit. If you're a DPS and you don't have that in your macro, I don't know what the fuck you're doing. It's not that hard. I'm not criticizing anybody. I'm just saying, like, it's not hard to implement that into the macro. It's just literally like less than even a second to fire properly. I don't want to get in there. There's a giant pool over there. Just avoid it. He'll draw us in. We'll need to pull out. It's a really bad place anyways. I really fucking... My ISP, man. I'm getting pissed. I'm getting so pissed. We're gonna might have to do a live phone call again today. It never fucking fails. It's like, come on, man. Seriously? Can you guys at least fix the fucking... just get your nodes just cleaned up once a week? Just scrub the nodes once a week. Can you do that? The connection's fine, except in the mornings. Peak times I'm actually good. It's what's whacked. It's like, oh yeah, peak times you're good. But, oh, by the way, we forgot to rebuffer this morning. You know, one thing you know, with the DK that slightly annoys me more than probably the Warrior, you really don't have a lot more leniency when it comes to aggro management. Meaning you have to be on top of it all the time. Your grit drops, you lose aggro. You know, a lot of people want to, like, you know, don't use, just grab the aggro and drop the grit right away. That's not as easy, man, because, you know, if you slip up at any time, your aggro's gone, man. The Warrior has a lot more leniency when it comes to aggro management, or anonymity management, I should say in this case. Yo, Irish, thank you, brother. Helps your tanks out. Diversion, diversion, diversion. Right, thank you. Oh, dude, thank you for that, man. Thank you today. Thank you, brother. Yeah, no, diversion, man. Seriously. Why? I mean, it doesn't only takes a second. Okay, once again, what I like to do here is lap them. So you'll see what I like to do here. And then I kind of guide the one. It has a distance marker. See what I'm saying? Where you can lap them literally on top of each other. The problem of it is most people don't know how to gauge the distance, like a ratio between the distance with mob pulls like this. But look what happened. See, one AoE missed. They missed. They single target one without a diversion, and yep, that's what happens. Then I'm having to pull back the rest of the time. Look, instead of AoEing, we got single target landed by the red mage, and he's gonna pull. Red mages have a lot of damage, man, and that's not a bad thing. That's actually a really good thing that goes on. But once again, you can tell he's not running a diversion. He's not. He's not running diversion at all. This healer's getting my vote, though. This healer's the fucking bomb. Now, see, he opened up with one of his hard-hitting, and it's not much he can do. He's got the proc, so of course he's going to hit. Wrong button on that one. try to stack that really quick. That healer's the shit. That healer's the shit. Let's pass. Alright. I like everybody. It's just, you know, you can always tell when somebody's not running a diversion in his rotation. It's like someone's like, oh, I don't need diversion. Oh, yo, I beg to differ there, bud. Then they blame the tank. You need to hold aggro. Oh, really? Well, thank you. Now, look. Once I want to do DP... didn't really get to do it. But I want to drop the grit when I want to deal more damage. Other than that, grit's up for me, like, all the time. Mitigation, now here's the thing what I have to say. Aggro management's harder on the DK compared to the warrior, but mitigation-wise, I like the DK better. I like the DK better for mitigation purposes. Like, I really do. I feel the DK, and I mean, some could probably justify that maybe that's why you can afford to drop grit, but a lot of people have to understand that grit is also responsible for your aggro. It's one of the main ways that you can manage aggro better. It reminds me of Rift when we had the problem with certain souls and tanking. We had certain souls that just could not keep up with proper you know, mitigation or aggro management. And by the time I left Rift, we literally had the mage be the best tank in the fucking game. It was the best tank. It was between that, in my opinion, the rogue tank, because of the way the dodge system worked. Clerics were always good anyways. Clerics were probably the most stable tanks, but... But like in ESO, like, Templar tanks are just ridiculous. A lot of people keep saying like DKs. I'm like, you've never played a Templar. Never. Never. You have never played a Templar. Shut the fuck up. You know, Templar tanks, they have a sick amount. They can aggro for days. They have AoEs that heal. I mean, AoEs that deal damage and heal. Okay. Did I miss something? Now see what I'm saying right there? You can see it. Now I had to manually pull, which is fine. I mean, hey, whatever. I am a tank. That's my job. I guess every so often I got to do something. But it's... Now, if I didn't have my grid up, that would have been a whole different story. But the red mage, its burst damage is so powerful. Like, the black mage will deal a lot more damage. Because as it's going through its rotation. But from the initial hit, red mages just are like Jesus, man. They just hit so hard up front. They just slow down. They don't have, you know, they're not powerful in the long duration in comparison. But holy shit. Once again, you can always tell. Now, I do like the fact that my Unmend does kind of give me that... See, it's always the red mage. I'll bet you if I ask him, he doesn't have diversion in his rotation. Or even macroed. I'd bet all the gil I have currently right now. I would bet it. without flinching. That's how goddamn good I am. You were in a raid group and you pulled that shit. That's an instant boot back in the day. You try to do that shit in a fucking raid group. You're like, yo man, we don't need no stinking, you know, reduction. Yeah, right. Go ahead, tell everybody that. Now if this fucking red mage gets caked, I should just let him die just to teach him a lesson, but yeah. Asshole tanks would do that. Of course, unfortunately, I have to AoE. Tell you what, if it wasn't for Blackest Night here, I'd probably be screwed. You can tell he's single targeting too. No, he's not throwing up maybe but 1 or 2 AoEs in the rotation. He's got single target locked in. But it happens, but trying to keep them centralized as much as possible. Switching targets, making sure. Who needs mana shift? Yeah, right. Who needs that shit? Who needs it? That's good. Yeah, mana shift. What is that? Who needs support skills? I'm DPS. Look, he fired. Did you see this motherfucker? Did you guys see that? He fired before I pulled. Bad DPS. Bad fucking DPS. Bad. Smack his hand now. That is a big no-no. You never fire before that tank turns. Ever. Never. You never do it. Nice thing is, if I keep him center, I can just come over here. Now, I do use a combination between my pull system, between mouse click and turn. Between the mouse system and my click. Because I use WASD, and then I also have like a keybind. So my main rotation is typically on board on my my numpad. Turn away, just in case. I can't see his icon above his head really well. Okay, I'm just gonna run over here really quick. Oh, yep, there. Got it. There it was. Get that heal in, though. Bye, bitch. GG. That healer gets it all day, every day. That healer was the bomb. The bomb. I think Red Mage is next for me. Red Mage is fucking beast. You get Red Mage down, they've got so much goddamn burst. It's just insane. Like, that's the only one I have to really worry about initially pulling threat before I fucking can get it established is the Red Mage. Not even the Black Mage hits that hard up front. It's just like, I mean, the Black Mage deals more damage over time, you know, during its duration, right? Like, it does. Once it gets settled in and it's doing its rotation, Black Mage is just beast. It hits hard, really hard. But that initial hit burst, that initial burst, I've never had such a problem with managing threat, keeping aggro. It's a pain in my ass when I see a Red Mage in my group. I'm like, God dang it. Fucking Red Mages. A good Red Mage is like anything, though. I mean, any good player. You know when to start your DPS. I understand, like, when you get your instant proc, you want to fire as a Red Mage. I know you do. I know you're tempted. I know that you want to fire because that instant proc is right there. It's like, I have an instant proc. I can hit for Thunder right now because it's up and it's instant. And it's like, okay, yeah, I get it. And that's the trick about the Red Mage. The Red Mage is being able to utilize your procs efficiently for your instant abilities, right? That's the finesse of the Red Mage. But, and I get why players want to go ahead and hit it so fast. They're like, yes, it's up. I want to go ahead and hit this. I want to get it in. But that sometimes is a detriment to the rest of your party. Because now you have a bit, now I'm going to switch to Warrior. Now you have your poor tank trying to pull aggro from your ass while you're running around being like, please don't hit me. It's amazing how much, look at this. Like, look how much life the DPSs have. Like, Dragoon has 51. I mean, it's like, holy shit balls.
Forward! Forward!
Once I get the aggro, now I'm going to run and then stack everything. Now, the nice thing about the Warrior, in comparison to me, is like I'm able to manage so much better because of the self-heals. Like my aggro is a lot easier to obtain on Warrior than the DK, but mitigation, I'm more dependent on those heals than maybe like the DK would be. So it's kind of like some of the the pros and cons between the two. Like if somebody asked me, like, who do you think mitigates better? The Warrior. Well, if you're using grit to your full advantage, the DK mitigates better every day. But if you're talking about aggro management, there's no doubt in my mind, it's the Warrior. In his defensive stance, it's just a lot easier to maintain, to regain that control, to hold it. Now Paladin, I'm still got to work with Paladin. Okay, now once I have it, then I'm going to kick in the afterburners. Nice thing also about the warrior, the more they hit me, the more damage I deal. So I really do want to like take advantage of grouping them up in large groups. Okay, is going on that side. Stop. Don't come around this way. No, get out of that. You're in my cleave area. Nice. Don't know if you guys seen what I did there. I hit my rampart. And then I hit my other ability to mitigate. I don't worry about the burn. I wouldn't recommend DPS do that. I try to stay above the crowd, give them. But for some reason, some people follow me above. I don't know why. Now, consequently, I don't have to tab with this. If I, if I wanted to go with the shift, I could hit like the shift combo. Like if I want to hit control 1, then I can go ahead and hit that. So everything to the second bar does have a control, button. I just prefer hitting the mouse if I want to hit a click over, because I am doing WAS. Just makes it more manageable. That's why everything's set on the main. Like I could toggle it over to a tab button if I wanted to. That's another option. And because instead of tab target, then I could go ahead and mouse or hotkey my switch target onto my mouse if I wanted to, or vice versa. I've done both, but everything the second bar is pretty much for just proc awareness anyways, or an ability that I don't have on my primary rotation. I keep everything one bar manageable as much as possible. Makes it easier, especially if you're on a controller. Yo, Clint, thank you, brother. Oh my God, thank you, thank you, thank you. I've been trying different jobs, trying Black Mage. Black Mage hits hard. It is a beast. I'm not gonna lie. It hits hard. Black Mage is my main, very powerful, but movement is meh. Still long cast. I'm new coming for me, so still trying to figure things out. Tell you what, I think you'll like the red mage, knowing your style, Clint. I think, but you know, try. Listen, I'm telling you, Clint, go Arcanist, man. You'll get a pet, you'll get a healer, and then at level 50, you can go with that nice, lovely red mage, man. I'm telling you, Clint. Arcanist is going to be your style up until 50. Then I think red mage is going to be that class for you, because you'll get to heal. You'll have a healer. You'll have a dot damage. You'll have a class you can solo with. I think Arcanist is one of those jobs that you're going to enjoy. They both level up together. Try it out, man. Because red mage, I think you like red mage. Because it has a healing capability, it has DPS capability, it's mobile, it hits really hard. Black Mage hits hard, but the mobility, Black Mage does. Black Mage is a beast, DPS beast. His just mobility is he's not very mobile. He's just not. Samurai is my favorite class so far, or my favorite job so far. But he has limitations as well. It's like if I have to move at any time, I'm screwed. My DPS goes tumbling. It's like, ah, shit. Tanking in this game's fun too. I actually think Todd would like to tank in this game. I could see Todd tanking in this game. What's crazy to me is, you know, like I get to play with Irish and them every so often, but most of the time I do the dailies in the morning during my stream, and then I try to get with people. But a lot of times if we can hang out in Discord and shit, and that's what we do. We hang out in Discord, we go over things, and, you know, it's just relaxing, man. I just have a good relaxing time. Okay, once I do that, I'm going to kick in the afterburners. Now look, once I swoop up everything, I hit my raw intuition. Why? It's a large dodge effect. Now I don't bank up hitting anything when I'm doing that. When I start taking damage is when I want to go ahead and hit my AoE special, my Steel Cyclone, because it hits harder the more damage I take. If I'm avoiding damage, it doesn't hit as hard. So there's a difference. So when I start taking damage is when I start hitting with that. Not when I'm dodging, if that makes sense. The eye candy for days. By the way, I liked your video, Irish. That new graphics eye candy for the samurai. Dude, that was awesome. I love the one with the moon. I never, like, you know, you always notice it to a degree, but like when I got to slow play yours, when you do the moon, and it actually forms the half crescent moon, that was so cool. That was just so fucking cool. I loved it. I was like, oh my god, yes. And it's little eye candy like that that really gives you an appreciation for the you know, the aesthetics. All right, right over there. I want this as a mount. By the way, Clint, if you can get to 50, listen, if you can get to 50 before the 16th, you can participate in the event. And I don't know if you can or not. I'm not saying you can, but if you do, they have an event where you can get that car from Final Fantasy 15. I was like, what? I don't know if you can do it, brother, but oh my god. Somebody died. It's not my fault. I didn't do it. Oh, he DC'd. He didn't die. He DC'd. That can happen. Okay, he's back. Go a little deeps here. Now that's another thing I will say about this tank. Nice thing about warrior tanks, if you can switch in time, like you can hit a debuff. Oh shit! Dragoon down! Dragoon down! Yes! Nice. Excellent. Poor Dragoon. He DC'd, then he died. Ugh. What a life. Which one is that I have? I don't need that one. I'm actually going to grade that because I'm working on that. And I think I'm going to grade on that one. I'm trying to get rid of gear, but I can't afford to get rid of everything either. It's like, oh shit, I'm going to use that. I'm leveling tunes still. You guys should see my poor Chocobo saddlebags and everything. I got gear out the wazoo. I've got extra retainer spots, and I'm still geared up. I'm still like, oh my god. Just give me my 3-somethings on all my tunes so I can drop some of this shit. Please stop. You guys are making this hard on me.
Out of my way.
I hate doing that too. Sometimes I actually have to like use my other AoE because my TP could drop, and I'm like, forget this. I'll just go ahead and hit my, so I can just grab up aggro. Just let the tank do his thing, man. If you're gonna heal also in this game, I do suggest keeping targeted on the tank at all times. Especially if he's running and gunning. If he's chain pulling, one of the major problems with chain pulls is, like, as a healer, I've noticed sometimes, like, I'll throw like a buffer on another person, and if the tank starts pulling, well, I might not have him targeted. And if he's not targeted, then I'm frantically trying to cap up on heals because I was like putting a shield on somebody or trying to, you know, hit something up really quick. And it was like, ah, shit, I don't want this dude to die because now it makes me look stupid because I should have had him targeted from the initial get. And then, you know, but it happens, man. There's nothing you can do. It's just like, you know, what can you do? You know, you can't anticipate all that stuff all the time, you know? You never know when he's going to like start chain pulling. Sometimes tanks stop, and you're thinking to yourself, okay, this is where he's stopping. Let me go ahead, let me throw him a quick heal, and let me, you know, get everything set up. But that's not the case. It's like, as a healer healers have it rough, man. Pay respect to the healers. Love your healers. Okay. Now watch. A lot of people would panic. Just gonna draw everything over. Now I'm gonna run away like a little scared girl. Please don't AoE me! I'm still gonna keep them turned away. I'm just kind of, you know, giving a little bit more room. Dragoons have it so hard. I will be showing you guys Dragoons. But Dragoons are very, like, they're so appreciated. But I would say out of all the DPS, they probably have it the roughest, even considering that they have heavy armor. There's a reason why Dragoons have heavy armor as DPS. It's one of the only DPS classes, it is the only one technically, that has heavy armor. And there's a goddamn good reason for that. You would ask yourself, why wouldn't they be putting them in medium armor if they're physical? Nah, I totally understand why after playing one. I'm like, yeah, I get it. I completely understand this concept. Excuse me. I had this terrible headache. I've been, because I had a stomach virus. I had slight dehydration. Nothing major. I did go see a doctor yesterday. And because of my slight dehydration, of course you get a headache. It's almost like a you know, a hangover type headache because you're dehydrated. When you're drinking and you have a hangover, it's because you're dehydrated, right? The alcohol's, you know, dehydrating you. So if you ever get hangovers, that's typically what it's associated with. And of course I had that headache. And oh my God, terrible, terrible, terrible. Because, you know, I got sick to my stomach. And now initially he won't pull from the get, but now I should be able to go ahead and lure him out a little bit more. The main one's his little brother over there, who's always like, now look, I'm just gonna hug this, anticipate the push, and then come back. And now I just avoided that extra damage. Okay, he's doing another X's. I want to stay in between the X's. Okay? That's kind of where you want to be at in the goal. Stay in between them so you're avoiding the damage. We're going to throw the self-heals. I'm not going to move. I'm going to force this dude up to me. Nice thing, like I said, once you've established the aggro, warriors just can keep hold of aggro or enmity a lot better, right? DKs are always going to have that element of, okay, now look. So I'm in between. It's just going to be a pushback. I don't have to do anything but just hold here now. He's dead. Switcheroo. Stay still. I hate this. Like, nobody takes in consideration colorblind people when they do this shit. Like, all I see is a little sparkle, and I have to pay attention to that. Because I'm colorblind. How inconsiderate, goddammit. No, I'm just kidding. It's like, really? Why is everything got to be red and green? Why can't everything be black and yellow, black and yellow? Just say it, man. Gotta love this part. Okay, wherever the bomb lays first, I start running the opposite way. Now I'm gonna kick in the speed boosters. Gonna stop and go. Oh yeah, look at that, look at that. Oh yeah, oh Mystic's got it. Come on. What? No, not now, not now. This is a cheat. This is a friggin' cheat. I was cheated, man. Oh shit. He was dead, man. That was bullshit. What? Was what? I'm giving it up to the Dragoon. Just because he's Dragoon. He had a bad day, yeah, whatever. Sucks. I have that robe though. Alright, let me... He said try it out, right? You'll get it, man. I've only played since February. Pretty easy to pick up. Control setup way different. That's cool. Yeah, it is. I wanted to get the spinning sword behind the back animation. I did get it, but it was too dark to see. Yeah, definitely. Yo, I'm telling you, it's, you know, my thing about it is, like, I picked up the Arcanist the first thing because I knew I wanted a healer and a caster at first, and I picked this up first. Now I do, like, they both level together, so this is my healer, and then I also have the DPS, which is right here, the version. So they both level together. I was able to get him, and I was pretty happy with that. Like, I was like, oh, this is so badass, because I was like, here he is. You know, I have my Bahamut or Bahamut or whatever his name is. He's a dot build. He definitely is he has some direct damage but more dot. Killer AoEs. Very also because of all the pets I have, if like I want to solo things, I bring out Ifrit. So I have Ifrit. He's like, you know, as Larry would say, oh, looky, it's my nugget. So, you know, so he's my tank. Then, of course, everybody's favorite, probably one of my favorites as well, is Garuda. Garuda is nice because, hi, Garuda. The buff, he deals damage from a distance, so he doesn't get hit a lot. Majority of the time he doesn't. He throws out a nice buff, and he has a killer signature move. Ifrit deals more damage than Garuda. Okay? no doubt about it, Ifrit deals a shitload of damage. The problem with Ifrit, hi you bastard Ifrit, he takes a lot of hits. Ifrit isn't, you have to be able to manage Ifrit very well. Because if he's standing in AoEs and then all of a sudden, you know, there's shit dropping in raids, you're like, well, there goes Ifrit. Bye, Ifrit. Do you want to get out of there? And Ifrit's like, no, I'm still dealing damage. And pretty much he's dead. And you're having to recast Ifrit every so often because Ifrit won't fucking move. So, because, you know, he just doesn't know how until you keep saying, come, Ifrit, stop, obey, come back, steady. You know, he's stubborn. So, everybody usually goes with Garuda, typically. But Ifrit deals more damage. But I do like Garuda. It's my favorite as well, just because it's less hassle. It is less hassle. I will be honest with you guys. That's why I like it. So let's check out my currency. My current currency. Okay, yeah. So speaking of, I can go get some gear. Finally. So I'm needing to get my earring today. And we can go do that now. Oh, that's another thing too. I got to repair. Forgot to repair. 1 second. Always repair. All right. You already read that. I'm sorry. Yeah, by the way, guys, if I don't see your guys' initial post, it's because when I'm in a dungeon, I'm full screened. So if you look at my screen and then when I do this, then I can see everybody's post, but I have to minimize because I'm too poor to have like a dual monitor. But, you know, it's fine. I typically don't have a problem. It was funny because I just had to build my daughter's PC. I had to build her a new PC. So long story short, I think, Elva, you remember last summer, my daughter got us swatted. Well, Dave, what's up, man? Not much, man. My daughter got us swatted, and they confiscated her computer for like 2 months. So we got the computer back. Man, mod 16 for Neverwinter is looking badass. Yeah, well, and I'm happy for the end gamers on Neverwinter. They needed that. So really good shit. But my daughter was like, oh, you know, I don't have a computer. I was helping her, letting her use mine because I was still on my PlayStation. It's fine. Whatever have you. All right. Yeah, there's my earring. Sweet. So anyways, my daughter finally gets a new computer built. Now, she paid for it. I'll be honest, she owes me a little bit of money. I'll be honest, I helped her out a little bit. But over half of it she paid for. The other half I paid for, and she's going to pay me back. So I teach my kids that, whatever. And I was kind of like, I built a pretty reasonable price PC for her, you know, but I built it, you know, and I was like, I'll build it. I know how to do this, what I'm doing. By the end of it, it was like her Mobo, I used a micro versus a standard, and I'll never do micro again, ever. The configuration was fine. As far as hardware and spec goes, it really looked good. It's pushing out the power she needs. It's a gaming microboard, so I made sure, you know, to get something that was going to last her and what she needed. But the way it was architecturally designed was less appealing to me. That's why I'll never do micro again. After dealing with that, it was like, why did they put these here? You had a little bit more room to kind of put these transistors over here, giving a little bit more, like architecturally, it didn't make sense. Like, but the board, it's sound. It is more than beyond functional. But where I'm going is, by the end of the day, she ended up with a better processor than I did. Not a better board overall, but the better processor. And I was a little jealous. I was like, oh my God, I'm so jealous. I was like, God, I was like, and I was like, for what we have paid to get this, I could have actually had a dual monitor, what I helped my daughter with. But at the end of the day, like, it is about the kids, your family, things like that. Why you are a parent, why you do things for your children. Because it's like, my daughter wouldn't have had all that money up front, even if she did side stuff like, help babysit, doing babysitting jobs and things like that. She wouldn't have had it. And she's into computers. Like, she's not a console person like my other daughter is. My other daughter doesn't like computers. She likes consoles, interfaces, faces. So my one daughter's into consoles. My other daughter is strictly a PC person. That's what my other daughter is. And I know, like, sometimes we're tempted, right? We're like, oh, I want to get this. I want to be able to do this. I want to be able to dual screen so I can see people's, text while I'm playing, right? Without minimizing it. But then in the back of your head, you're like, I really shouldn't do it. And why shouldn't I? Because, you're kids. Because at one point at time, your kids are going to need something, right? They're going to need it. So you just restrain just a little bit. It's okay to do stuff for yourself and enjoy the fruits of your labor and whatever else have you. But at the end of the day, you always pull back just enough when those rainy days happen, and you have to have, there for the kids. Just for that moment. Because you never know. You never know when something's going to happen and your kid says, Dad, I need a new pair of basketball shoes for school or something. And you're like, okay, well, that was out of the blue. Where did that come from? Oh, I don't know. I just got a notification today and they hand it to you. And you're just like, okay, well, I guess we're going to go. No, they have to be this kind. Oh, okay. I'm just saying, you never know. As a parent, that's the one thing you're never prepared for, is the last second things that you have to pay for with children. It's just like, oh, here it is, Dad. Here it is. Here's the bill, Dad. Here's the bill. Here's the bill. You're like, okay. Alrighty then. Crazy, man. The kids, oh my gosh. But I was thinking about it, honestly. I was like, oh, before my daughter had that unfortunate circumstance. But she's happy now. She's really happy. It was affordable. It was really affordable what I put together for her. It was really affordable. Like, I would never have bought her like a crazy system. That was just not something I was willing to do. My wife was like, well, what are you going to put together for her? You're not going to put anything like what you got. And I'm like, well, mine's a crossover system. So I'm like, I don't think that's anything where I want to go with it. And I'm like, but I can get her a new Zen, or I can get her a Zen processor, with a micro board. And we can get her a faster RAM processor, faster RAM, a better bus speed. And she's like, okay. So I finally got everything. I put that bitch together. I was like, yeah, we got this. And her onboard graphics look actually pretty fucking amazing. Like, she has a graphics card and she has onboard graphics. But I'll tell you what, that onboard graphics card has a 4K capability. Has 4K capability on the onboard card. I was like, this is sick. This is sick. It was sick. Amen to that. My daughter is in dance. I know, right? Dude, I feel for you. I dated a girl who was in dance. Like, I did dance, but I did different kind of dance. But I dated somebody in high school. She was, in dance classes. And the outfits that you guys have to pay for, oh, my God. Like, she'd go to competitions, and she'd have, like, different outfits for her competitions. And I'm like, well, how much does that cost? Because besides the lessons, the shoes, right, are the outfits. And the outfits are just, wow. Wow. Wow, wow. Wow, 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 wow. Not including the Go, your registration, all of that stuff. Like my kids, I got them into martial arts. Did you buy a Ryzen CPU? Yeah. No, it's a Zen. Not a Ryzen, it's a Zen. I got her a Zen processor. AMD. Zen. Yeah. I didn't go with the Ryzen, I went with the Zen processor. It's an 8-core. Yeah, I got an 8-core Zen. It's sick. It's fucking sick. Like, it was a good deal. It was a really good deal. The only thing I wanted to drop my mouth was, okay, so I accidentally got her the Pro. I had to get her a new OS, right? Because of the new hard drive and new hardware, everything. I had to get her a new OS. And my friend was like, well, why don't you go digital? And I'm like, well, I would, and then up, you know, USB port over. And I'm like, but I should get a hard copy anyways, you know, just for rebooting purposes, right? For like disk formatting and shit, just in case I needed it. So I decided to go with a hard copy just for like formatting purposes if I needed it. It's just a better structure to reboot and reformat if you need to, like, you know, configure hard drive spaces or whatever. In my opinion, it's just a nice, click it in configuration. The HUD setup is just a lot better when you're trying to install initially. So anyway, so I said I'll go with the hard copy. Same company. Yeah, same company. Yeah, it's Zen. It's AMD, right? I just got her the Zen processor. I love it. I was like, I was a little jealous because her CPU's slightly better than mine. I have an FX. I have the last series FX chip, but my board was backwards compatible for it. So I had, since I already had everything configured when I had to redo my system last year, I had to get a backward MOBO. So the MOBO that I got, it literally, like, I needed it to function but be upgradable. And that's hard. That's a hard find, man. And I ended up paying a lot of money for my MOBO alone. And then, you know, the upgrades, you know, slight upgrades I did. Because I'm cheap, you know, I'm poor, you know. You can't, if my GPU went out today, oh my God, I'd probably faint. I'd faint. So I tell people, you know, the GPUs, those are the most expensive components that you'll get, you know. GPU is like insane. So when I took a look at my daughter's, she's running a very old graphics card, and you know, it's not anywhere near 4K capability. So when I was looking at it, I was like, here's an affordable micro that I could get, and I could put a, you know, it's a Zen, I can use the Zen processor, and it has 4K capability, but it's going to derive everything from the onboard RAM versus, you know, its own separate source of RAM. And when you're taking a look at onboard graphics, and I was like, so, you know, bus speed's got to be very considerable, you know, higher. So if we're going to do this, we better, you know, upgrade, you know, to at least something that, you know, has a very good chipset, and, you know, how much RAM can we put on this bitch. So my wife was like, can you do this? I'm like, I've never worked with a micro board before. Well, I have. We did a small configuration, but this board, after working with this board, I'll never do micro again. Ever. I'll never do micro board ever again. Never, ever. Like, I don't have the steadiest of hands, and getting some of these pins, you know, setting the pins on everything was painstaking. It was a pain in my ass. A pin in my ass. Oh my God. It was like, God. And she had a standard case too. So I was like, God. Like, everything fit okay. But I wasn't like, looking at the architecture, I'm like, no, this should have been over here. This should have been there. They could have done this and bypassed this, and then you could have had, you know, your PCI slot configured over here. I'm like, why? I'm just looking at it like, what the fuck? There was like a couple little things that was annoying to me as I'm setting everything. And I was like, wow, I'll never work with one of these fuckers again. But the board's amazing. The board is simply amazing, performs well, 4K capability, though she doesn't have a 4K monitor. But it's amazing. It was a good system putting it together, but I'll never do it again. That's for sure. There's a couple good deals you can get out there. You can build systems pretty reasonable. But it's just like you got to keep an eye on things, man. So speaking of, let me see what we're at. We're at 370. Yay, baby! Oh, hold on. I might be able to get higher now. Oh, 458. Oh, hold on. And I think I just need the gloves, don't I? I think that's my lowest piece. Yeah. But how much are the gloves? I think they're like... Part of me says, don't do it, start getting stuff. But then part of me is like, you know, if you're ever going to heal, you actually should have some better gear. 458. Oh, I'm slightly short. Oh, oi. Yeah, we'll probably get it. It's only a few points, but I probably will end up getting it today. Alright. Now, back to the machinist. Because we've got shit to do, man. Oh, wait, whoa. Actually, no, I take that back. I actually do have to get on my other tank because I need more of my serpent seals for a reset. Yeah, but Clint, thank you for that donation. Irish Mage, thank you for that donation today, man. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. I do need to get my notifications back up. I don't know. I haven't been on my management site for a while. There's a lot of things I want to do. I want to change up some of the things on the page, not to reflect just one thing, but you know, maybe get a new introduction coming up. A lot of things I'm going to be working on in the next few months. Class configurations I'm going to do. Also, I was thinking later maybe I hate this one at the end. This one is a pain in the ass in the end. Hello. I'm just hoping, so Microsoft will be at E3 this year. Sony's not going to be, EA's not going to be, but Square Enix will be. And I'm hoping, and I was just, I was reading a comment saying, if they're going to announce that Final Fantasy XIV was to come out on Xbox, it would have to be at E3. I agree with that. I actually really do agree with that, and I would love to see this take place. So if it happens, we can anticipate that news to probably drop. So my thoughts is, if we don't hear anything within E3, it most likely isn't going to happen. But if we hear something at E3, we can pretty much bet that, you know, yeah, here it is. So E3, I think that's when we're going to hear something officially, yes or no, you know. Because like somebody said, you know, there were posts before. There's always been, you know, there's no secret that Square and Yoshida and those guys, they've wanted this to be on Xbox. There's always been, you know, kind of some minor discrepancies of why it hasn't come to fruition. A lot of things could be, you know, we could always get into like some details and stuff like that. But regardless, you know, with all of these changes that Microsoft's been doing, I feel like if we're going to see it come to fruition, we'll see that announcement. Typically, I think more around the E3 conference. And what a conference it would be too. I'll be honest with you. I mean, if this was to go down, Microsoft with its new announcements for its systems, its new announcement for you know, cross-play capabilities. I mean, it's just like, it would be a good year for Microsoft. It's you know, working with Nintendo now, it's like, wow. It's like, it's not about the system anymore. It's about accessibility. And I feel like that's what the new systems are going to represent. The way that Microsoft's putting it. You know, there's a different platform for a different type of gamers. They're making things more accessible and giving the players more options. That's the way to move in the future. It is. You know, and they're recognizing, hey, let Nintendo be Nintendo. Let Sony be Sony. Let us be us. Let's just do business. Let's get people on the page. Let's, you know, any type of business is, guess what? Business. This could be very, very good. So if we're going to hear anything, like I said, I anticipate an E3 announcement if it's going to come to fruition. If we don't hear it, I don't see it happening. So that's why I said this. I think this is going to be the make or break for whether we're going to see Final Fantasy XIV ever going to be on Xbox. Because by the time the next gen comes out, you know, I don't know what would happen then. One thing I also like about the DK, you can kind of keep them simple. You don't have to be, you know, you can make it more complex if you'd like, but you don't have to. Good shit. This dungeon, for its level, is really fucking pain in the ass. I'm not gonna lie. This one is a pain in the fucking arse. Robert, what's up, dude? Congratulations, bro. Moving on up. Hey, David, been MIA all over. Got a new position at work again? Dude, congrats, man. We're getting the house ready to sell. Dude, awesome. That is the bomb. Dude, congratulations, man. And this was your second promotion now, brother. Oh my God, congratulations, Robert. Congratulations, man. Dude, I can't think of a better person, though. You've been working for the company for a long time. You deserve it, man. You know, and I always tell people, it's always nice when, you know, dedication pays off, right? When all that hard work is recognized and the fruits of your labor, you know, come to fruition. Man, congratulations, brother. I'm so happy for you, man. Hopefully you're not moving too far away, but if you are, man, I hope it's someplace warm. And how's that PC running for you, brother? I bet you liking PC gaming now, aren't you? Tell you what, PC gaming is pretty good. You know, I like my consoles, though. I still like my consoles. Like, I don't feel like, maybe at one time I was a little snobbish when it came to, like, the quality of gaming. But now, you can't be. It's like, the hardware in consoles is just sick. I mean, I would have never thought in a million years that spec by spec, hardware for hardware, and you know how much your graphics render, that consoles could ever keep up in a computer, in comparison to computer gaming. But more and more, they definitely are. So yeah, kudos to the. I was about to say these things should be transforming. Get back here. Thanks, man. Nah, not far, like 30 minutes north. Dude, that's good. That's awesome, man. Congratulations. Congrats, brother. You deserve it, man. You really do. I'm so happy for, man. And see, that's a good thing, man. At the end, I just, you know, I want people to have, you know, like something to look forward to in life. You know, I always tell people the hardest thing about careers these days, like my brother, I love the man. I love him, but he's worked for like, and he's good at what he does, but like literally he's worked for I don't know how many companies in the last couple of years, right? But he's always kept a really high-end position about what he does. And even me, like when at one time in my field, I was just always bouncing around to competitors because it's like, especially in the insurance and investment type stuff, unless you sign a non-compete, which, you know, honestly, I don't know why anybody would do that. That's one thing, like, I always told people, like, is this a non-compete? Yeah, no, fuck you. Like, this is my livelihood. Like, if anybody does a non-compete, I don't know what the fuck you're smoking. My only advice to people, don't sign non-competes, man. Not in your field. You know why they have you do that? So you can't fucking make a living without them. You're dependent on them. Don't do that shit. Do not do that shit. That's my only advice. That's what would be my only. And my brother would agree. Like, a lot of people would try to get you in a non-compete. And I'm like, fuck that. You can kiss my ass. Non-compete, kiss my ass. You got me twisted. But that shit's real. Like, and no matter what field you are, when you go up that bar, man, when you're elevated to that level, the first thing they'll try to get you on is a non-compete.
I will not yield to you.
I'm like, kiss my ass. You know, my brother says, you know, that's when you know you're doing something right, when they don't want you working for the competition. Okay, now see, what I'm trying to do also is pay attention to like some of the, you know, areas in which these are set up. The little circle voids, because they drain magicka and health and all that shit. They're pretty nasty. See, that's a perfect placement. It's going to be right beside. It's not going to be, and then this one's right here. And now we can move over here to this side. And I can keep people away from it. That's one thing as a tank I got to be aware of too, is guiding my target. So it doesn't, you know, hurt my party members. Now see what I did? I just moved him over just a slight bit. Good shit. This dungeon can be such a pain in the ass. I really like the PC, but still like my Xbox as well. Just need to get some free time back, I bet. Thanks, Rob. Yeah, I'm pushing for it. Trying to max out this money before it starts to become my main focus. Yeah, gotta get that money, man. Gotta get that money, man. That money, man. It's, remember little bone? The thuggish, ruggish ways on my crime every time when I'm in 9-9 and you will find all of me kind. Do not. I'm trying here, y'all. Once again, it's like weaving back and forth, trying to keep them central, as center as possible. It's not really hard once you do it, but once, you know, at first I feel like a lot of problem with beginner tanks, they just want to move. You know, they keep pulling back instead of just guiding them, like, you know, sliding them in and out, weaving in and out. Centralizing the DPS. Okay. This last boss can be such a fucking pain. Okay, center it, center it, center it, center it. Alright. Such a pain.
Filthy rats! Be done with you!
Now what I like to do is I like to do this one a little sideways. So I can pan around a lot easier. Like here, see? Now I can come over around here. So I get like a peripheral vision of the knights. A lot of the times, you don't see the ground AoEs are very vague here because of the way the color is, but okay, now we're gonna drop the grit. Okay, damn it. Okay, now I'm going to pick up the grit back up, get out of that.
You disgust me.
Now you'll notice I'm on the other side here. That's intentional because shit gets a little chaotic here, especially with the knights. Except I don't like my healer where they're located, to be honest. Now you'll see that I'm in a good position right here
Be done with you!
Now I can relocate over here.
Sickness must be
Okay, I'm
purged!
gonna drop this now. Just gonna slightly turn so I get that peripheral again.
Sickness must be purged!
Now, do you guys get what I'm doing here as a tank and why I did it?
Be done with you! Sickness must be purged!
Still recovering. There it is. You guys seen it? What I was doing? I hope. That one could be a pain in the butt. GG. GG. Oh, good luck, man. How long before you focus solely on the startup? Hold on. Thanks, Rob. Yeah, I'm pushing before it. Trying to max out. Gotcha. Building clients for my tax business. Did 150 this year once. I get around 350, 400 clients when I go full time. Oh, dude, that's badass, Dave. But I have appreciation for you if you're into taxes, man. Like that was one thing I never wanted to do when I took accounting. I mean, I took accounting, but yeah, if you do taxes, the only thing I always feel like, laws change, in the tax business has, you have to appreciate people who do taxes on any type of level, on any type. When I took accounting, my friends like, you want to be a CPA? I'm like, no, I don't want to be a CPA, but I took 4 years of accounting. I was like, no, I'm good. But you know what? Like every year laws change. Like insurance, we see that. I'm Robert. I'm sure you can contest to that as well. We see laws change. We have to take CE. Same thing with the taxes. But tax people, every deductible changes. Federal deductions, state deductions. How that affects how that's affected to your return. A lot of things like your earned income guidelines. All of these things, and not including businesses, business taxes, right? If you're doing that, quarterly, biannually. I don't see too many businesses do annual. It's usually quarterly. But crazy, man. Crazy. I got appreciation for you, man. I got appreciation for you, brother. Ugh. That's one thing I never wanted to get into. All right, so we got that one done as well. Now let's see. I'm trying to think here what we got. All right. Back to the machinist. All right. I think we can get the other one in. Got tanks, trials, got quite a bit of stuff. Less than 5 minutes. I'm trying to level this dude up. He's almost got a full bar of rest XP. Like, I should hit 69 today for sure. I'm hoping 70 by tonight, but if not, whatever. I'll be good. We'll be good. And actually, that's not too bad. 558. Did I end up getting that yet or no? I think it was 600, wasn't it? For those gloves. Nah. Yeah. I think I got it. There we go. I should be able to get this and my other raid out of the way before reset. Or at least my trial. Tank Q is the best, right? Tank Q is the fucking best. Oh, food booth. There we go. Ow. No way, man. Welcome. Did we get a tank? Tell me we got a flipping tank. Yeah, we did. Did we get a healer? Yes, we did. Got another deep. Yes, we did. Let's go. Up. Oh, look at you. Superfly. There we go. Looks good. Who's it gonna be? Not me. Oh, maybe. Come on, man. Nothing I can do for that poor person over there. We're not gonna get a 3-bar. about to say, I think I was about to pop it. Somebody got it. Thank God, Sam. Sam's dealing really good damage. Good. 261,000. Meh. Always just go for cosmetics for these. I don't think anybody really needs them. They haven't really applied to progression for a while. System is updated with the AI, the laws, right? You pay $1,000 a year and use Drake software. It has all the new laws loaded, and you get the updates as it goes. Nice. Yeah, don't you still have to take your CE courses though and keep up with all that? I mean, as far as taxes, I mean, I don't know. I know for insurance we had to, like insurance, any any type of changes we had to take in our classes every year, you know. Like I didn't do CPA or anything with taxes. Like I took accounting so I know how to do it, but I never wanted to do it. I was like, nah, I'm good. I take accounting so I know it all when it comes to this element of business. So, you know, but laws are laws, and, you know, it's just like, you know, they change, you know. But that's cool that you guys have that. I didn't know if you had to take it with CE. Like, I know in insurance, anything changes, it's in your upcoming CE class. All these changes being implemented. It's like, you know, hey, we're seeing a change over here in life. We're seeing this change over here in P&C. We're seeing this over here. It's like, and then you know, I haven't been in the field for a while, and I still get emails about, excuse me, my throat. I still get emails about policy changes and risk coverage and all this stuff with all the laws. I still get notifications on that, you know, all of it. I'm like, I haven't been in the industry, but, you know. It's good to know. I mean, everything's good to know. I just didn't know how taxes were applied, you know, as far as, like, the law changes. But that's cool that you guys actually have something like that. That's actually badass. That's actually kick-ass. Yeah, and this is your busy time of the year. This is like your busy time. Like, you know, especially extensions. People are running extensions, you know. Because extensions can go into May, right? If I'm not mistaken. You have April, what, 14th, April 15th deadline. You can run an extension up through May, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Don't hold me, you know, you're the expert here. Like I said, I don't do taxes, you know, so I never, you know, wanted to get involved in that. I did get offered by H&R Block to work for them at one time, H&R, but I was like, no, I'm not interested. don't want to do taxes. Never wanted to. Never wanted to do taxes. My friend really wanted me to be a CPA. We went to school together, and he knew me. We had accounting class probably since our sophomore year. And he was like, dude, you need to do an accounting. You have all this accounting, and you're not going to be an accountant. You have 4 years of accounting. You're not going to be an accountant. I'm like, no. Whoever said I wanted to be an accountant? Well, why'd you take 4 years of it? And I'm like, so I know how, dude. I'm like, you got to think everything is pivotal around the numbers. Everything. All of it. To understand how it all applies, it comes back to that. Every element. I'm like, you know, when we're looking at exchange, it reflects, you know, in our ledgers. You know, when we're taking a look at, you know, because I wanted to be a broker, is what I wanted to be initially. I'm like, our highs, our lows, our graphs, all of these things are going to reflect in our, you know, our counting sheets. How it all comes back. And that's why I wanted to take accounting. That's why I was so adamant about taking it. I took economics, and I studied economics. I also studied investments and things. But seriously, that's accounting. Like I said, everything goes back to the paperwork. All of it. All of it. Further, until like September, October, really? We get emails and they send us videos. Oh, okay, yeah. That's cool. Yeah. So you guys get the emails too. Like I got emails, so many emails too. Like, so you do get the updated stuff. Like insurance, kind of similar, exactly the same way. We get notifications about any of those things that you pay a certain amount. But like I didn't know if you guys had to take it all at once or whatever. We have every 2-year CE with insurance. So you have to take your 2-year every 2 years for your continuing education, how many hours and everything you have to have in every 2 years. And they give you like a requirement, and then any federal law change or any law changes are applied annually, like that, like your notifications. So yeah, that's what I would get, like my email notifications. And of course, you log in to your company site. It it records your ID. So then the company sends it in, and it's there for auditing purposes that you've attended and you've watched the classes, of course, or done the book work. And there's like all of this really simple stuff that you do. It's pretty easy. It's not like really hard, but at the same time it's just time consuming. I wish sometimes you could hit fast forward on some of the vids, but some of the vids are locked. So like you can pause, but you can't skip it, right? You're like, can I skip forward? No, you cannot. You cannot skip forward. Do not pass go. Do not collect $100. Oh, please. It sounds so monotoned. 20 minutes, I'm not getting that in. There is no way. Okay, hold on. I might be able to get my trial in real quick. Then I gotta take a quick break. Like, I'm still like, I can feel all this stuff. Might have to get some cough drops. It's not like a regular cold. Like I said, it was a stomach virus. But man, I was puking so bad. I probably strained my throat. Like, blah. I'm like, oh my God. It was terrible. It was horrid. It was god-awful. Speaking of, I have a meeting tomorrow with one of my bankers. So I have a meeting tomorrow with banker. It's like, it's supposed to be an offer. So, or something, I don't know. He's like, can you come in? And I was like, sure. I don't know why, but yeah, sure. Probably for credit something or something. I was like, what's this about? And he was like, oh, well, we'd like to have, to have you come in, for an offer. I'm like, what kind of offer? He's like, well, I'm not allowed to disclose it over the phone. I'm like, yeah, it definitely sounds like a sales bitch. He's like, well, can we at least set up a meeting? I was like, yeah, sure. Why not? That's fine with me. And we got to talking, and he's like, yeah, well, I was like, well, I understand, I've been there before. He's like, I'll have you. And I'm like, yeah, everything goes back to sales. I'm like, but yeah, I was in the banking industry for a while there, so he's like, really? I was like, yeah, of course. Of course. I love how people downplay, like, other positions in banking too. Because I always tell people, like, one of the things I find the most interesting, the more reliable people you can bank on, is the tellers. I always tell people, like, tellers are probably the most underappreciated, but yet, do the most traffic as far as transitions and in any given day. And I was telling people, if you have to appreciate what a teller does. for a living. They cannot, they have to be 100% accurate on their drawer a day. They have to keep in consideration all the accounts managed through their personal accounts, like people's loans, you know, car loans, house loans, mortgage equity loans. All of these things have to be balanced as well on top of their, you know, their payouts or counts. There's a lot of things that go into that. So I always have an appreciation for really good tellers. You know, that to me is amazing. I always tell people a teller can always go up, move up in the world. You know, you can't always take a person who's at a certain position and drop them down and put them in a teller's position and expect them to do as good. Like you can't. It doesn't go backwards. I have a P10 and the IRS sends me the updated videos. Nice. Yes. That's so cool, dude. That's actually really cool. That's cool. Yeah, you know, it's kind of cool, though, because you get that. You know, you log in and, you know, they calculate it. They definitely keep track of it, don't they? They make sure of it. You know, it was weird because I was actually talking to this guy. I'm like, do you have your series, you know, this and that? He's like, yeah, I do. But a lot of people don't have to have that anymore. I'm like, I know, it's a shame, isn't it? He's like, yeah, you can definitely tell that you were into this because as soon as you said series this or state that and this, I was like, yeah. Because it made sense at one time. You know, but back in my day, when I did it, like they're generalizing bankers nowadays. And I was like, you know, I was a banker, but I was an equity specialist, which was different, right? I'm like, you know, meaning I could do anything. I could, you know, even be a teller. Like I could tell, and, you know, I could do, you know, personal loans, anything like that. But where I specialized, my specialization gave me access to equity loans and PNC access to insurance for homeowners insurance. So things like that. So, you know, I do lines of credit, secondary mortgages. I do all those products. You know, those are the products and services I would do. And then refis, things like that, consolidations, debt management, annuities, mutual funds. Let's save you money. That was damn good too. That was damn good. Hell, you should have heard me over a phone. Aon loved me. That company loved me. Shit, I've done products and services for First, America, or BOA, First. Done stuff for Aon, RBS, tons of them when I did all those services. Then I've also did stuff for United, tons of things. Working as like in that capacity, whether you're like if you're working in agent capacity, broker capacity, it's so much more flexible. If you are, you know, I don't know, it's definitely different. I think when you're, you know, one type of agent, you know, working solely with one company, it's just different because how your products, what you're offering your clients is based on what your company is offering, and it's, you know, it's products and services. Like the same writers, I always told people, you know, I can get you this writer over here, but I can't get you that base policy, the same base policy as this company is offering, right? So different writers and indemnities would differ between each company. And the same thing for your, you know, your cost. That's all. It's how everything's configured. And being out on broker capacity, or and being more independent, you could definitely offer more, to your clients. But if you're, you know, more like I work with this company specifically, you know, it's harder to do that, in my opinion. But once again, does it pay out? What's your base salary? Are you a commission worker? How's that configured? You know, there are some perks to being, an agent for, or a, representative for. There has some perks to that. I am a mortgage underwriter for my day job. Oh, are you? Dude, that's so badass. Mortgages. I love mortgages. The game's changed, though. Well, especially where you're at. You're in Florida. So there's a lot differences by state by state. Like when I was I started when I was 19. And we were talking about, I would get people coming in. I would work in a docket office. Like I was the lowest on the totem pole. So I'd work in the office, and they were like, guess what? It's going to be a slow day today. And I was like, okay, cool. And then they were like, guess who's on docket duty today? And I'm like, oh, yay, me? And they're like, yeah. I was like, cool. So I go to the public records department, and I pull up the dockets. And I would do all the docket work, building the lead lists. So, by area. So, and I'm sure you're familiar with, how dockets run there, Dave. So I would pull up the dockets, and then I would calculate the amount of, the estimated amount of equity. Depending on each pull I would generate. And of course I'd input all this information, just grab it, input it, come out with the equity, and then of course, come up with a preliminary, a rough estimate to do, you get then you send out the mails, and then all of a sudden you get it. You've been pre-approved for it. People are like, how did they get that information? Because it's public record. Okay, everybody, it's public record. Nothing new. It's public record. It's completely legal. And of course, they'd get my information. They'd get my associates' information. They come into our office, and that's how we establish our setup. And of course, the biggest thing in the 90s was the housing market, how it fell. And I would talk to a lot of these companies that they would the appraisers, and they were appraising houses ridiculously, older houses at a higher value. And, I told my associates, I'm like, we have a problem, because if this deflates, right, we're going to lose a substantial amount of money in the older homes, because they're, we see a newer home for the same square footage going for X amount of dollars, and an older home, which is 100 years old, yes, it's not built the same, it's kept in very good condition, but it still is an older house, right? So because of this, we're going to lose money. Its value is going to drop significantly in comparison. Oh, no, we'll be fine. I'm like, okay. Like 4 years later, housing market, it was like 98, 99, or no, 99, 2000, somewhere like that. The housing market went like tumbling. 2 years later, we saw the Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac disaster, right? And I'm like, no, what would I know? What would I know? And I was like, listen, man, I kept telling you guys, man, fucking listen to me. And I'm like, it's the appraisers, man. The appraisers overpricing these older homes is ridiculous. It's completely fucking ridiculous. It makes no fucking sense. It makes no sense. No, it does not make sense. And sure as shit, that's what happened. So, I still remember that. I'm like, yes, it doesn't, area makes a difference. Yes, condition makes a difference. But older houses cannot stand forever. Okay? That's just the way it goes. So what's going to retain more value in the longer run? the newer homes. The newer the home, the more it retains value. Okay? That's simple math. It's simple logic. It's just like they're overappraised. They're going to go down. They're going to go down significantly in pricing. It's just the way it is. They're overappraised. They are well overappraised. And they're only appraised due to, you know, the surrounding market. You know, what the surrounding market is selling for sets the standard for location. The location sets the standard in that area. And I'm like, and when you're overappraised that much, if the market takes a hit, these older houses are going to be the first to get hit. And what's going to happen? It comes off the equity. It's going to affect us at the bottom line. You know? That's where it's going to hit that's where it's going to hurt the most. It's going to hurt. So yeah. Terrible. Terrible, terrible, terrible. I don't, you know, don't miss any of those days, man. A lot of people want to think it's all, you know, great, but it's not always. Especially when people don't want to listen, man. Nobody wants to listen to you. Everybody just wants to put a nice little smile on their face and say, "Oh, everything's just fine." Yeah, right. Cool. I like that idea. Should be the middle. You guys can stand over there. I don't care. Done. 776. Nice. Excellent. Just give it to a random. Nah. Don't even care. When that happens, you run AVM to make sure the appraiser ain't hiking the prices, right? Right? But you know, the funny thing about it is, that's what's the problem, is like the appraisers, the appraisers are kind of setting a standard, and you try to do that, right? You try to look at the, the evaluated market, the surrounding market. You take a look at it, but the problem of it is how the economy is set to, that surrounding area, the cost of living. And I went over this at one time with some colleagues, how and I tried to reintegrate it just recently to some individuals, how we need to take a look at the effects of cost of living and the associated to real estate, right? And the problem of it is a lot of people just want to, like, they don't care, especially if they're in the real estate business or they're in that market. They don't want to hear it. All they want to hear is, buy low, flip, and sell, right? Or lease. One individual I'd met, he owns property, and basically he buys the property, builds buildings on it, then leases those out to other companies. So he's making a residual profit off of, a lower end purchase. So his residual gain is a lot higher, even if let's say at the end, he's staying empty for an X amount of period of time. That the time it's occupied, he has a larger residual than the initial purchase price, which is great for him, I guess. But at the end of the day, property is always going to increase. The value of property in the long-term market is always going to have a higher end value. But when we take a look at, mortgages and the associated property of what's on the said property, whether it's commercial or residential, commercial or residential, is significantly different, right? And I was like, and when we take a look at the cost of living and the adverse effects it's going to have to the market, if the market, all of a sudden inflates too high, too fast, then all of a sudden we see the downturn, what suffers in the long run? Where are we going to see those effects play, have the hardest hitting effects? Where's it gonna hit us? The older what's on the property, what's on it, not the property, not the land itself, but what's on the property is where we're going to see the adverse effects. That's where it's going to hit us. That's where it's really going to hit us the hardest. So we got to start paying attention to this. And appraisers, that's where I feel like a lot of people are always like, hike it, buy, sell, and flip, buy, sell, and flip. And when I see these shows like that, I'm like, you just want to take your head and just pound it off something. It's like, yes, but look at the property, the base property value. Look at the value of the land per acre, right? Now make the association with what's on the property. All right? A lot of people don't do that. A lot of people do not do that. And what you get is always an inflated market that is completely unrealistic to inflation as a whole, right? Meaning there's always going to be a downturn. There's always going to be a downturn in that area somewhere along the line, the way they have it set up. It's always going to occur. It's a no-fail system. It's a no-fail system because the appraisers set the market, right? Well, the local area sets the demand, and then the appraisers set the value. But in a coordinates, or an associated comparison, that it's always going to go back. It's going to revert, and it's like, oh my God, man, you guys are killing me. You guys are fucking killing me, man. You guys are killing me. You guys still fucking 100 years later, and you guys still can't figure this one out. It's like, you guys are killing me, man. I'm laughing. I'm bawling. And you see a consistency. You see it. It's pattern. It's almost even pattern. If you take a look at it and open it wide on a national scale to the market, It's a pattern. And it's like, you guys are fucking ditzes, man. And like, that's why I always say, you know, you can take the people from Harvard, you can take the people from Yale, you can take the people from the Ivy League schools, put them against me, man. Good luck. I was the youngest hired into my company. The youngest hired in at my company. I was like, good luck, motherfuckers. Good luck. There was a reason why I was recruited at such a young age. I'm like, y'all motherfuckers are just stupid. But, you know, at the same time, who's going to listen? How are you going to, you know, how do you influence anything? One person can't influence anything. Nobody can. You know, you have to have people who understand what's going on and, you know, within a collective mind. To, you know, and can you prevent it? No. But can you reduce the effect? Well, possibly. That's what you want to do. Especially when you got money, when people have money, you know, tied up into that. Remember the associated closing costs? How they were tied into the loans? Remember that? We had that association back in, you know, 2000s. Up until the, you know, the Fannie Mae and the Freddie Mac, you know, problems. We had the associated closing costs associated in with the loan, right? That was, and at one time we didn't think of anything of it. Even if it was federally, you know, funded, it still accrued interest. You know, that closing cost was accrued, you know, costing interest. You know, it's like, oh yeah, closing costs, posh. Don't worry about it. We'll go ahead and, you know, that's fine. You know, we'll take care of that. We'll take care of that. Don't you worry about it. And we were just putting people in, you know, houses. Like, I still remember there was so many companies, so many banks that got burnt too for early foreclosures, right? During that whole disaster. It was just terrible, terrible, terrible. One company I worked for, I won't mention any names, had did something that was completely, you know, wrong. And I'm like, you can't do that. That's illegal. And they're like, excuse me? I'm like, listen to me. I didn't fucking stutter. I gotta let you go after this. I'm like, I didn't stutter. That's illegal. You know it too. So that's the last time I tell you, right? It's illegal. So I don't have the authority to make you cease and desist, but I'm telling you, for professional reasons, you should cease and desist. Because the implications of this is completely going to, somebody's going to pay a very, very big problem with this, and they'll throw everybody under the bus. Everybody will get thrown under the bus. If you tell me they touch this, I wouldn't touch this with a fucking yardstick. It's illegal. And because there's practices that happen that a lot of people just want to overlook or turn a blind eye to, and you have to protect yourself. You have to protect yourself. You have to be a little precautious about that in some of the business practices that companies might try to pull over, because there could be a potential loophole. No, do not take that chance, man. I tell people, they don't care about you. They care about the bottom line. And the bottom, if they can get past it and get that money, hey, they don't give a fuck. And I'm like, but the question of it is, you can do business. You can still do business. You can still make a profit, and you can do the right thing all at the same time. The question of it is, though, are you trying to make the easy money, or are you trying to earn the money? You know, that's the question. Like, people in, you know, suits, I always tell people, a lot of problem with suits are, you know, and I'm speaking, you know, as a person who used to be a suit, is if the less fuss, you know, we don't want a lot of hassle. We want to get in, we want to get out, we want to close the deal, right? It doesn't matter what relative it is. It's like, what can I do for you? How do we get there? And let's do it, because I'm trying to move on to the next. You know, it's always the hustle. It's always the chase. But the problem of it is, we skip a lot of steps along the way, right? That's the problem. sometimes we don't cover our tracks, or we don't do things the way it is. The one thing I loved about the insurance industry more than any other industry is because you have to keep records, right? Because you could get audited, and you know that takes a lot of, you know, you have to be diligent. You have to be a person that says, we have this on record. We want with digital files, we want this. You have to keep up to all the federal standards. And that's why I feel like I enjoyed what I did from that perspective. Is there was, you know, there was a certain requirement that had to be met. You know, there was certain standards that had to always be met, no matter what. So I always tell people, I think that's the only reason I really like the insurance industry is because of the federal standards that had to be required to do it, right? Despite any difference between states, federal standards were always set high. So really liked it. But anyways, I'm going to let you go, David. Thank you for stopping in. Robert, thank you for stopping in. Congratulations, by the way. Irish, thank you for stopping in and for that donation. Clint, thank you for that donation as well. I really hope you're enjoying Final Fantasy. If you can get Todd over here, tell him to check it out. I would like to see him try it out, see his thoughts as well. Once again, I got to take a break. I'm Mr. Craven. This is Mystics MMOs. As always, thank you. Have a nice day.